spit going?
It's on.
It's 5 p.m. and we have a quorum. Members Adams and Heredia are absent. Is there any comment regarding our closed session?
Nobody. We have no one to make comments.
Okay. We will recess into closed session.
Okay, everybody, I would just like to announce real quick, if I can get your attention. Still not there? Are we there now? Check 1, 2. Our clock in the back is off by about 5 minutes, so we still have about 5 minutes before the meeting. So we sat down here all ready to start the meeting, but we will wait another 4 or 5 minutes. So thank you.
Yeah. No. You have it on though, right? It says it's on. This is weird. What is this? Who was reviewing the invoices?
I'm sorry?
Who was reviewing the invoices?
Paul. And, yeah,
Good
so,
thing, because I didn't know if I was.
no. Paul did it. He's got a little script prompt in there.
Did everything go, how big was the baby?
7 pounds, 12 ounces.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice size.
For a first
20,
school.
20 inches
Yeah.
long.
Is it a boy or
A
girl?
Girl, Ava Maeve. Is her name, Ava Maeve.
Well, Maeve is such an Irish name.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she's from Mexico. I think I've got a little bit of Irish in me. I don't know what, she just liked it.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's interesting because I know it's a very Irish, she's
Yeah.
from Ireland,
Uh-huh.
and their little girl, their firstborn,
With Maeve.
you should hear how they pronounce it. It's
Oh,
very
really?
interesting.
Oh, interesting.
You know, the Irish.
The Gaelic kind of.
Test, okay. I'd like to welcome you to the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District Board meeting tonight, and we will start with a gavel in, and we have a quorum. Our members Adams and Heredia are absent, but we have our quorum. We are going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we are honored to have Charlie Paris. Charlie, she's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would stand. Come on up, Charlie. Good. Thank you. She's at Valley Center Elementary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Report from actions from closed session. Tonight, in closed session, our board took action to approve the following: OAH 0222080013. The vote was unanimous. Approval of the agenda items, additions, deletions, and corrections.
Yes, Board President, I have two additions to it. One is the a trip and attendance at the National Indian Education Conference in Oklahoma by Floral Howell. And also, we are sending our welding and woodworking class up to a conference in Paso Robles with Mr. Bromell.
Oh,
So we'd like
nice.
to add those to the routine items.
Okay, great, thank you. Do I have a motion
So moved.
and discussion?
I'll second it, but no, no discussion.
I think those additions are great. And second. Call for the vote. Member Veneman?
Aye.
Member Heredia is absent. Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh votes aye. Member Adams is absent. Now we're heading into a great presentation that we love to have, and that is a recognition and presentation from VC Elementary School. And our school employees of the month, we're going to honor them. And our principal, Mr. Bill Kvitley, will come up with and honor Brian Morningstar, classified, and Kimberly Williams, our certificated. Thank you.
Good evening, School Board Vice President Stroh, School Board members, Superintendent McGowan, district administrators, staff, valued community members. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Valley Center Elementary School's Certificated and Classified Employees of the Month. Our Certificated Employee of the Month is the wonderful Mrs. Kim Williams. Joining Kim this evening is her husband, her children, her sister, and friends. Kim has been an important member of the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District family for 8 years, teaching grades 3 and 4 here at the elementary school and grades 1 through 6 at VC Prep. Before joining VCPUSD, Kim taught TK, K, 3rd, and TK through 5th grade science in Carlsbad and Encinitas. In addition to being an outstanding 3rd grade teacher, Kim wears many hats here at the elementary school. She is the Ed Tech representative working on all things technology with staff members. She keeps our website updated, runs a tech club for 5th graders, creates a school yearbook, and runs the yearbook club, and is a member of our social committee. As if that's not enough, she is a Class Dojo ambassador, a Donors Choose ambassador, and an Apple certified teacher. Kim's favorite thing about teaching is seeing kids grasp the concept and getting excited about learning. She says that's what makes it all worth it. When not teaching, Kim enjoys photography, art, building classic cars, gardening, and hanging with her sweet babies. Here are a few things her colleagues have to say about Kim. Kim has always amazed me in her endless energy and ability to spin many plates at once. She has an extremely challenging class last year and continued to serve the rest of us through her work in the social committee, tech club, yearbook club, and the list goes on and on. Kim always goes above and beyond. She pushes herself to do all that she can for her students and all colleagues at our school. It is a great honor to name Kim Williams as our Certificated Employee of the Month. We're good. Would you like to say a few words?
Oh, sure. Can I put these? Oh. I got it. Sorry.
There's your name. There you go.
Sorry. Okay. You're like my maid of honor right now. Okay. Thank you. I've never had an award like this, so I didn't know if I was supposed to say something, so here goes. It's a complete honor to just be here, and to be in Valley Center-Pauma Unified. They took me in 8 years ago. I've loved every second of it, so sorry. I got real big feelings. Okay. It's really surreal to be presented with an award for doing something that I love wholeheartedly. And, you know, they say that inspired teachers are the building blocks of education. And it's been those inspired teachers from my elementary years all the way to the walls that I share them with who have given me those building blocks. So thank you all for being here. Just to share in this accomplishment with me means a lot. And a super special thank you to my husband for putting up with all my late nights and coming and working in my classroom when I made him to. And thank you. And all of my 5 amazing kids who are my reason and my why and my everything. And thank you to my sister who supports me and encourages me and guides me, and all of my friends and my colleagues that turned into friends. I wouldn't be where I am without you. So thank you.
Our certificated employee of the month is the wonderful Brian Morningstar. Joining Brian this evening is his mother Kathy and one of his brothers Charlie. Brian has been a community member for most of his life, having lived and gone to school here from kindergarten through high school graduation. He has been an important member of the VCPUSD family for 2 years as a special circumstances instructional assistant. In addition to being an outstanding instructional assistant, Brian is also the JV boys tennis coach. When Brian's shadow student is absent, he steps in to help out as an aide wherever he is needed, anywhere in the district. Brian's favorite things to do working at the elementary school are working with the students and the staff. They make working here such an enjoyable experience, Brian said. When not teaching, Brian enjoys playing tennis and soccer. Here are a few things his colleagues have to say about Brian. Brian is always happy and smiling. He takes such good care of the students he helps. Brian is amazing with his shadows. It is obvious when I see him around campus that he has developed trust and seems tireless and is infinitely patient in circumstances that are most often extremely difficult. Brian is amazing. The work he does with his students is pure magic. I see him run with his students, play, talk, etc. He goes far above and beyond. Brian is a pleasure to work with because of his pleasant and positive attitude, which makes nearly any task seem fun and interesting. He is eager, willing, and more than capable to meet the needs of the students he interacts with. Due to his love of children and determination to spread his passion for learning, Brian shines. Brian has an undeniable, infectious, can-do attitude that makes for a great team player. It is a great honor to name Brian Morningstar as our Classified Employee of the Month. And he normally would have dressed up for the occasion, but he came right from a tennis match in Escondido.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Sorry. Juggling everything. I know. I love it.
I thought it was a little more manly than flowers.
Yeah, just a little.
Would you like to say anything?
Here, I can say one or two things. Just like Mr. McCowan said at my graduation ceremony, he believes that anything should only be about, I'd say, 10 minutes? Yeah, so I'll keep it nice and short for everyone. I'm not a great speaker, and I didn't have anything prepared. But it is an absolute joy to be able to work with, especially my staff. Like, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff I can do without, like, Miss Pat Stone and Miss Bedford and everyone that's here right now. And, like, just seeing everyone, especially from the elementary school, is, like, it's wonderful. Like, they make it an absolute joy to work here. And it's crazy to be on this side of it after being a student all the way through from B school all the way through to being a Jaguar. And now it's like, I mean, Mr. Hillwood was my social studies teacher for 2 years. Mr. McCown was my president. And we have Mr. Pearson, who was also my principal. And so it's just like, oh, it's wonderful to see everyone. And I'm so thankful that I received this award. The funny part is I have to run right back down to Escondido because we have senior night. So I have to get back down and go cheer them on again. So, but thank you so much for everything. I love it all. Thank you.
And Brian, we would just say that we're all very proud up here seeing what you've developed into, and you're great with the kids, so thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the board, Superintendent McCowan, district admin, staff, and guests, thank you for this opportunity to present and inform regarding our curriculum presentations for this year. This school year, our site curriculum presentations will speak to a focus on literacy throughout our district. Literacy is thought of in many ways, one being a conventional approach of reading and writing in language arts, but it can also be viewed as the junction of content knowledge, experiences, and skills merged with the ability to read, write, listen, speak, think critically, perform, all part of the practice of developing meaning and effective communication. Literacy skills grow and mature over the course of every person's life, from a kindergarten to a high school graduate and beyond, giving each individual the skills in many areas that are needed for success in their future. This speaks to the outcomes we look for in our students in every grade level. Each of the presentations you will hear this year will speak to this experience for our students and the incredible work by our staff and teachers. Please welcome our first literacy report from Valley Center Elementary School, presented by Principal Mr. Bill Kavitli.
Good evening, School Board Vice President Stroh, school board members, Superintendent McCowan, district staff and administration, and valued community members. When we hear the word literacy, we usually think of the ability to read. In its broad definition, literacy is the ability to not only read, but the ability to write, speak, and listen in a way that lets us communicate effectively and make sense of the world. In other words, literacy encompasses all the things we need to be successful in life. As we look deeper into the meaning of literacy, we see that literacy also means competence or knowledge in specific areas. At Valley Center Elementary School, we strive for literacy across the curriculum, including content areas such as English language arts with reading, writing, listening, and speaking, math, science, and social studies. Tonight, we will look at examples of how we achieve literacy across these subject areas. Our core literacy program is Benchmark Universe. Aligned with science of reading research, Benchmark Advance and Adelante are core language arts programs that provide a cohesive structure for the development of literacy skills and content knowledge. We use Benchmark Advance for our English instruction and Benchmark Adelante for our Spanish instruction. Benchmark integrates language arts, science, and social studies throughout the year. Student consumable books allow for students to build their annotation skills while close reading. Lexia Core 5 Reading is our pre-K 5 literacy program designed to support student literacy development. It is a blended learning model that implements 3 components: independent, student-driven learning, and ongoing data monitoring to drive instructional priorities with teacher-led instruction. This data helps teachers target skills for student intervention. The simple view of reading breaks down reading comprehension into 2 parts: decoding and language comprehension. The reading rope further breaks down the concepts that underpin the science of reading. Our benchmark curriculums and Lexia follows a structured literacy program that is based in the science of reading. Benchmark has designed units of study that are consistent across every grade level. For example, Unit 1 in Benchmark involves government and citizenship. In this 3rd grade example, students wrote speeches running for office, filled out job applications, presented their speeches to the class, and after which students voted for class officers. Science literacy is developed through science notebooks. These notebooks are a tool to develop scientific thinking. Students learn how to set up their notebook with a table of contents, sketches, observations, etc. In this 3rd grade lesson, students used personal observation, oral language through discussions with peers, and finally written expressions in the form of descriptive writing and illustrations. In mathematics, it's important for students to share their thinking with others to demonstrate that there are many different ways others solve problems. Here's an example of students explaining through writing how they counted the dots on the dice after the hands-on activity was over. This low floor, high ceiling activity allowed for all students to access the standard at their own level for success. At VCES, we have a new theme this year: the beauty of math. These projects take place on our early release days. We are using math concepts to visualize math through art. Our first concept was symmetry. You can see the variety of symmetry projects. Students were also encouraged to write about what symmetry is and how it relates to their artwork. We are displaying the math artwork down our hallways, showing everyone our math literacy. The smiles on student faces during the math symmetry lessons say it all. Targeted instruction in the classroom. In order to reach the needs of all students, our teachers work with small groups and one-to-one to target instruction that meets their individual needs. Student literacy needs are also delivered through our small group instruction with our SPED department and our instructional aides. Tammy Stryler, our instructional coach, works with students to support the SSP process through a series of 6-week intervention cycles. RTI intervention binders are created by Tammy and are tailored to each individual student in order to meet their literacy needs and to document their progress during these intervention cycles. In addition to language literacy, Tammy also works with teachers in the classrooms with math literacy. Here, she is in a class having a discussion on number sense, increasing both math and oral language skills. We are also very happy this year to have Dawn Ray, a district literacy TOSA, with us part-time. She works with students in small groups, targeting specific learning skills. She also works with teachers as a student-centered coach, looking at student evidence and collaborating with them on meeting students' individual needs. For the past several years, we were privileged to send a team of teachers to Be Glad training, guided language acquisition design. The strategies used in GLAD include using cognitive content dictionaries, inquiry charts, graphic organizers, pictorial input charts, story maps, mind maps, team tasks, expert groups, and interactive journals, all increasing the literacy of our students. This year, we are participating in CLSD, the Comprehensive Literacy State Development Grant. A team of teachers are participating in a series of professional development meetings designed to advance literacy skills through the use of evidence-based practices, activities, and interventions, including pre-literacy skills, reading, and writing. Though still early in the training process, strategies such as Give One, Take One, storytelling, where students tell their own personal stories, and structured partner talks are taking place. As you can see here at VCES, we are on a mission to educate students through literacy across the curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Principal Kavitli. And this is truly one of our most favorite times, is honoring our great staff. Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District is blessed to have such a great staff that works together, and just hearing Kimberly and Brian talk and give you, elementary staff, thanks and honoring you in their own words as well. It truly is a joy, so thank you. And we always like hearing of the updated, what the various principals are when they present is going on within our education system. Thank you. And we're going to move on to requests to address the and to honor our community, we will be enforcing the 3-minute time limit per speaker and a 20-minute per item limit. The time will be visible on our screen there, and it has a chime that will indicate at the end of your 3 minutes. And we ask that you will adhere to that, the allotted time. The speakers may not cede their time to another speaker. The Brown Act, and this is critical, and might reiterate this because this is really important as far as how we can respond or not respond. Members of the public are encouraged to attend our board meetings and to address the board concerning an item on the that is on the agenda within the board's within the board's jurisdiction. In order to conduct the district business in an orderly and efficient manner, the board requires that the public presentations to the board comply with the Board Brown Act 9323, including the following. Members of the public wishing to address the board must complete a request to address the board card prior to the board meeting and give it to our board secretary. The board president will recognize each person who has requested to address the board at the proper time and invite them to speak from the platform. The speaker must announce their name prior to addressing the board. All comments are limited to a total of 3 minutes. Per person, 20 minutes per item. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the Board of Trustees, this is important, and staff's ability to respond to your comments on the items that are not on the agenda. The board may not legally take an action on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. If there are any concerns regarding a specific individual, it is preferred that the speaker refrain from naming them publicly as respect for their privacy. Please note that once the board closes the public session and input time on an agenda item, only the board and staff are involved in the subsequent discussion. Thank you for your cooperation. First is Lenora Leonard.
It's Lorena Leonard, not Lenora.
Is, okay.
Lorena.
Lorena, sorry about that.
It's okay. Oh, my time started. I'm a parent of the child who attends Valley Center High School, and I would like the board to consider investigating Valley Center High School administration accountable for failing to maintain a safe learning environment as outlined in the Safe Space to Learn Act. They were grossly negligent in their failure to provide any form of safety protocol for known physical threats and harassments. As mandated reporters, it is a responsibility of the school, particularly the administration, to supply their students with safety and protection for foreseeable violence while they are at school. The altercation that occurred on Tuesday, 10/4, should have been prevented. Repeated physical threats to a student were reported by students and witnessed by staff. Principal Little confirmed that at least one teacher reported it to security and administration 24 hours before this fight. Yet the administration had names and did nothing. I have been very vocal about this concern and allowing to be interviewed by the news, and I've been surprised that many families have come to me with similar incidents that are happening at the school. My concern is the district's lack of accountability for providing a safe environment for all students by hiring the right amount of staff to supervise. The campus security job of $16 an hour has been vacant for 2 years. Only 2 security for the entire campus is not working and has not been working. What are you as board members doing to provide a safe environment for our students? According to the Valley Center budget overview, your LCAP, it's goal 1 with allocated funds of $380,000. Your SPSA, it's written into goal 2 to reduce the incidence of bullying with allocated funds. According to your emergency plan relief funds with $5 million, it's written in there too. Obviously, the safety of our students is a large concern to the district, as it should be, and it's evident that the district continues to fall short by implementing these safety measures. I want to know what the consequences for negligence is for this administration. What are they facing? Our students' lives have been changed forever. Students with no previous altercations missed their senior homecoming, lost their athletic scholarship opportunities that they've worked years for due to the negligence of this school board. The administration seems to turn a blind eye to the bullying and fighting, but once the fight happens, all the students are suspended regardless of what led up to that. So you send the bullies and the victims to Oak Glen? That's your solution? How is this in the best interest of the students? How can we send our students to school with an administration that has been blatant disregard for the safety and well-being of our students? Let's not forget what this will do to their mental health as well. In a community that had 2 suicides last year, I would think you would want to address this and be proactive rather than reactive like you are now. If our students have to face the punishment and consequences for failing to follow school policy as outlined in our handbook, the administration should also face same consequences for their failure to follow policy as outlined in the student handbook and the insubordination for following comprehensive school safety plans approved by the school board.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sarah Cardon, if that's said correctly.
Hi, my name is Sarah. Classified employees have been made aware that the district is only offering a 6.5% increase, while the increased cost of living exceeds that amount. I am a librarian with the district and am not awarded enough hours to be given the opportunity to receive any benefits, so I'm going to focus on consumer inflation rather than health care. I will read some of the areas as to which we are seeing the majority of the impact from inflation from information provided by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Consumer prices are up 9.1%, the largest increase in 40 years. The 9.1% increase in the All Items Index was the largest 12-month increase since the 12-month period ending in November of 1981. Prices for food increased 10.4% for the 12 months ending June 2022, the largest increase since February of 1981. Excuse me. Prices for food at home rose 12.2% over the last 12 months, the largest increase since April of 1979. Energy prices rose 41.6% over the last year, the largest 12-month increase since April of 1980. Gasoline prices increased 59.9%, the largest 12-month increase since March of 1980. Electricity prices rose 13.7%, the largest 12-month increase since April of 2006. And the natural gas prices increased 38.4% over the 12 months ended June 2022, the largest increase since October 2005. How can the district expect employees to keep up with these numbers if you're holding back on giving classified staff proper cost of living adjustments, or COLA, increases year after year? And with the all-time index increase at 9.1%, the district isn't even covering this year's cost of living increase, let alone previous years. Social Security is giving a higher increase at 8.7%. I am a taxpayer, and I would like to know where my money is going, since the district has not been giving the full COLA amount to classified staff that they have received from the school board for the last several years. Even though we are not teachers, we all serve the students in some way every day we are on campus. We are serving the community's children and our future generation. And what better way to show your gratitude than to give us the COLA we deserve? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Lorenzo Flores.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo Flores. I would like to start by saying how unfortunate it is that an altercation took place at the high school. I would like to clarify and set the record straight, as well as for the school and the district administrations to be held accountable for their mishandling of this incident. First of all, this was not a racially motivated incident. My son and his teammates acted in self-defense. My son, who was a football player, was being followed, harassed, bullied by this group of kids for multiple days and multiple classrooms. All while my son ignored their taunting for a fight, worried that he would be attacked by these kids. The day of the incident, during one of the passing periods, a teacher saw these kids approaching my son before entering her classroom. The day prior, during lunch, this group of kids went into the classroom where my son and some of his teammates were watching football film, insisting on fighting my son. My son and his teammates kept eating lunch and told them that he wasn't going to fight them. A coach was notified of this issue. My son and his teammates and the school officials were notified. Yet nobody did anything to stop these kids from harassing and taunting. On Tuesday, the day of the incident, my son and his teammates were on their way to sixth period when they were approached by this group of kids. Some of these kids pursuing the fight did not have a sixth period and had no reason to be on campus, yet they were out there, they were on their way to find my son and harass and taunt him yet again. However, somehow the school administration did not deem this as important and crucial information before giving out consequences. If his teammates hadn't been there to defend and protect him before being jumped, my son would have been assaulted by these group of kids. My son and his teammates were acting in self-defense. My son was being bullied at school by these group of kids. The school was informed and did nothing to stop it. Now, my son and his teammates are being bullied out of the school by the administration for defending themselves, being transferred to a continuation school while at least one of the kids that was bullying and taunting is back on campus. This is complete injustice. The lives of these kids are quite literally being ruined because of the school and the administration failed to take action in preventing all of this, and is still failing by placing the blame and the responsibility on the victims. I am greatly disappointed in the school officials in the district in the way that they handled this. Shame on you, Mr. Callen, for speaking to the media without even having the facts.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Tabitha Martin.
My name is Tabitha Martin. Health and safety should be a top priority for our school district. I would like to reiterate a portion of the letter that I sent to the board yesterday, addressing the ongoing issue this district has had with the position of district nurse and school nurse positions. At this time, I believe the board should consider this a crisis within the district nursing department. We lost a treasured and longtime nurse at VCHS today due to these issues. As of now, this staffing issue will be severe, with only 2 school nurses left for our entire district. VCPUSD is slated to lose nearly every single school nurse we currently have by the end of the school year, as they leave this district for others that offer better support, more respect, and higher pay. As a rural community, our RNs and LVNs are the first responders for our children. They are the staff that ensures continued health for our disabled students, allowing them access to their fair education. Currently, our district nurse is serving as a substitute for the lack of on-site school nurses, then allowed the time to perform and maintain her duties. Much of their job requires sign-offs that must be completed by a credentialed school nurse according to the Office of Education. To become a credentialed school nurse costs in excess of $30,000. Their pay and the respect for the position should reflect this. Quality nurses who have left our district reported that support and pay were key issues. Upon review, the pay for LVNs does not reflect their education or licensure. These are licensed nurses who have gone through in-depth nursing training. Under no exception should their starting pay be any less than $30 an hour, and this was prior to current inflation. Every single district in San Diego is struggling with both LVN and RN staffing, according to the District Office of Education Nursing Department. I can assure you that pay is a huge factor. A new grad RN in San Diego County makes $90,000 in a non-supervisory role. These nurses often work 3 days a week with significant sick time, vacation pay, and exceptional benefits. I have heard feedback from the district office that the district nurse and school nurses only work a certain number of days and certain number of hours per school year. I have never heard such statements when referring to teachers or district salaries. The district can afford to adjust the salary to be competitive and encouraging in retaining of RNs and LVNs. I encourage you to look at the grants you've recently received and are very proud of and consider a retaining bonus. Nursing is as important as your teachers, your administrators, and it is a position that is not treated nor recognized for its skill and specialty within our school district. VCP should set aside the excuse of what other districts do or pay, as every district within San Diego is struggling with their nursing staff. We can afford to pay our LVNs and our credentialed staff, our certified staff, a living wage in VCPUSD. We should seek to be a standout employer and safe haven for our children.
And our next speaker is Bill Dunkel.
I'm a father of one of the boys who was on the altercation that occurred last Tuesday. First of all, this is a terrible that this happened and that all the kids already experienced serious consequences. I hope and pray that the facts come out because the video does not tell the whole story. I'm also very concerned about how the communication was not handled properly. There was a serious breakdown from the staff to security to administration. From our perspective, along with many other perspectives, this fight could have been prevented. I also believe that we have policies in place that need to be reevaluated. My son lost his senior year already, and I wish that weren't such a rush to judgment and punishment before the facts were all investigated. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jovi Beckman.
I'm not a good speaker, but I would like to address regarding this fight that happened on 10th Fort. It's the same one and the same kids that the beginning of the school on 8/28 or 29 of this year, my son got jumped by the same kids. Nothing was done. Nothing. When the cameras were reviewed, why there isn't any cameras facing the locker room? my kid continues to get threats on his phone through media to the same kids. If he continues to play football or be in school, he's going to get jumped again. And it's the same kids that got into the altercation on 10-4. Same kids that are still there. And now that my kid is changing schools to prep because of the same issue, now I hear that those kids are going to be there. So the same problem is going to continue. What are you guys going to do about it? Because it's affecting my kid who's right here present. And who's afraid to speak to you guys, because if he speaks up and says his name, they're going to come and jump him. And according to him, there's plenty of threats that say all kids in sports are going to be jumped, seniors especially, because they know that seniors can't do anything. And it's affecting my son just like everybody else here. And I would like to ask you, what are you guys going to do? Please. My son already lost his senior year just like everybody else. I took him out of the school, took him out of football because of the same reason that these kids were getting. You guys haven't done anything. You guys didn't investigate on 828, even though we made a police report. We spoke to your sub-principal, made a report, because I didn't want him to be affected just like these kids, because he's 18. Now this happened again, and it's all the same threats that he's had and continuously. Please, do something. This isn't fair for the other kids, just like it isn't fair for my son. Because now we have to look out after him at prep school. It's unfair.
Thank you. And I just want to reiterate that we are constrained by the Brown Act to not be able to comment on what is being said, but no, we are hearing you. Is this Chris? Oh, yeah. Next speaker is Christine Stolik.
Good evening, board members, administrators, employees, and community members. My name is Christine Stolik. I am the California School Employee Association Chapter 795 President at Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District. I am here tonight to represent and support the essential employees that are the backbone of our district. These essential jobs include security, bus van drivers, child nutrition services, maintenance and operations, technology, grounds, skilled maintenance workers, secretaries, administrative secretaries and assistants, guidance technicians, instructional assistants, Indian service assistants, noon duty supervisors, speech language pathologists, health technicians, library and media techs, attendance clerks, accounting, payroll, and purchasing clerks, career services technicians, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, band assistants, HVAC technicians, and migrant service assistants. These jobs are held by the dedicated, hardworking people with families of their own whose children attend schools within our district. Many of us live in Valley Center, just like you. We are faced with increased cost of living, which include rising health insurance premiums, fuel prices, and grocery costs. We acknowledge that our district has offered our classified employees a 6.56 cost of living increase with a 1% off-schedule bonus. This 6.56% was given to them by the state of California to distribute to their employees. We deserve more, and we are currently negotiating for it. Every school district in San Diego County paid their classified employees COVID pay, either as a percentage of their annual income or a flat fee for working during the pandemic. Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District paid us nothing extra for working during the pandemic. This didn't make us feel essential or respected. Classified employees receive a significantly lower hourly wage, but are expected to pay the same amount for health insurance as that of our teachers and administrators. How does that make sense? We are keeping the teachers and administrators' health care costs down. As an example, all employees of our district that need to cover their spouse and one or more children on a Kaiser healthcare plan starting in January 2023 will pay $2,305 a month out of their paycheck every month for 10 months of the year. a 6.6% from this year increase. The district has offered that 6.56 salary increase with a 1% off schedule bonus. They are also increasing every district employee on the healthcare cap from $12,000 to $13,500 tenthly. This is to offset the 6.6 increase in the healthcare premiums effective January 1st. How is it equitable that a school security guard in their first year of employment is paid an hourly wage of $15.16 an hour, equaling approximately $2,628 a month, but they are required to pay the same amount as our administrators for the exact same plans? Once again, I ask, how does this make sense? Can I continue?
No, 3 minutes. We went over a little bit, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Teresa Mendez.
I apologize. I do not have any prepared remarks. My name is Teresa Mendez. I have 5 children in the VCP. Sorry. Oh, I thought you were asking me a question. I have 5 children who have attended school here since preschool. I currently have a senior, a junior, 8th grade, 6th grade, and 2nd grade student. I am very concerned about the security issues. While my children were not involved in any of the events that have happened, for the first time in all of the time that I have lived in Valley Center, I fear for my children's safety. I believe that part of the issue stems from the lack of security at the middle school, which is now also feeding into the high school. There have been numerous incidents at the middle school where increased security would have also prevented it to go as far as it has. I have heard from other parents that their children are being excessively bullied. Just yesterday during a community discussion online on our public page here in Valley Center, somebody said that their child was bullied to the point where they were almost raped on campus. I do not have evidence, however, the concern of the parent involved really scared me. I hope that with the funding that we have received, you take very seriously the concerns of all the parents of this community. I have been told that our current budget, we are running at 27% in the plaque, where California only requires that we are at 4%. We have the money to hire additional staff. We have the money to take care of our kids. We should not be afraid for their safety. I had to ask my children if they felt safe. I had to ask my children if they wanted to go to school. I don't want to face this issue with my younger children going into the middle and high school. I hope it is addressed.
Is Kathy Michaels.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Michaels. I'm with Showing Up for Racial Justice North County. I'm here again, asking many of the same questions relating to the inequity of Native students and Latinx students in your school district and why you are not using some of the federal dollars you receive to implement programs to help these students achieve more. The California School Board Association states the role of the school board is to ensure that school districts are responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of their communities. Along with providing community leadership to advocate for children, the school district and its board members are responsible for ensuring accountability. I think we've been talking about that a lot. The school board does not work for the superintendent. The board members work for students and families. The superintendent acts as an advisor to the board in establishing priorities. Research suggests there is a relationship between student achievement and boards that share a vision, support, and uphold district goals. Why is the board satisfied that only 25% of Valley Center students meet state standards? Do you just not care? Surely being on the board is not a status symbol in your community, so why are you here? I pose the same question to the superintendent who earns more than the governor of California. Salaries of that scale generally indicate a level of competency and proficiency in one's skills at performing their responsibilities. The data reflected in California's accountability reports does not reflect proficiency at educating or improving the academic achievement of the approximately 4,000 children enrolled at Valley Center. California student performance tests of 3rd, 8th, and 11th graders indicate 5.5% of Native youth and 15.15% of all students are meeting math standards. Where, Mr. Superintendent, is your accountability? This board recently approved an increase in your salary. An increase in pay suggests that a person is not only meeting the job qualifications, but excels at them. Student outcomes and recent incidents in May and October do not reflect the district's mission of dedication to personal growth and academic excellence, nor does the district climate seem to foster a passion for lifelong learning and respect for themselves and others. For 6 months, I have watched stakeholders and parents implore you to do better and put forth recommendations and solutions regarding how to best educate their children. I suggest it is time for the board and the superintendent to listen to the parents and the students.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. It's hard to read. Thank you, Petra.
Good evening, members of the board, cabinet, community, and staff, and everybody here classified. My name is Petra Oviedo. I'm the CSCA Labor Relations Representative. I've been working with Valley Center-Pauma for a while now. I want to acknowledge all of the great work that our classified does to keep your sites running, and I can't commend them enough. We are currently in negotiations and very close to coming to an agreement. However, we were disappointed with the offer that the district came back to us. We know that the district has a very healthy reserve account. As a matter of fact, it's way above average. The governor recently signed a $170 billion education budget. It is historic. It's epic. It also includes funding for district transportation operations with the reimbursement of up to 60% of all home-to-school transportation costs. That means that money that is reimbursed will go right back to the general fund and further cushion that reserve. Part of the plan requires that classified employees be part of the planning committee. It seems that yet again, classified is being disregarded. I'm not sure if the district or the board is aware, but CSCA has an Office of Governmental Relations that helped push that bill and many other bills through. CSCA helps get school funding bills passed, yet the classified employees here at Valley Center don't seem to reap the benefits of it. What CSCA is requesting tonight is your support for our hardworking classified employees. Somehow, how can the district justify going home every day and sleeping well at night knowing that their employees can't afford to cover their family's health benefits? It's time to do right by our classified employees. For many years, they sacrificed getting 1% raises, 2% raises, sometimes 0% raises. They even worked through the pandemic without a single cent to cover their increased workload that they had been performing. Our classified members deserve to be compensated. Were you aware that a security guard and a food service worker has the same health insurance rates as a superintendent? Yeah,
You heard that right. Somebody that makes $15 an hour versus somebody that makes well above close to $300,000 a year. That's right. They pay almost $1,000 right now currently a month to be able to cover their families. By including classified employees in their health in the group, they're also bringing their rates down. But where is classified at right now? Our classified members deserve to be compensated appropriately. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay, some of these are a little hard to read. This is Stephen, is it Densdale? Yes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Steve Dinsdale. I don't have any prepared remarks like everybody else. I'm active duty in the Navy for 16 years. I'm a chief. I got sent to California to do a job. I brought my family to do that job. The one thing that I've always wanted to do is make sure that if anybody knows, if there's a punch being thrown, you know the face. You're seeing the face right now. My sons were the ones that told me about this rape corner in the middle school. And I was irate. And if there's any family members or people here that have kids in that middle school, I'll tell you right now, they're afraid to tell you. They're afraid to tell people. They say pacts with each other so that they don't mention racism that's being happening in that school. Y'all pissed off the wrong person. I had many things I wanted to say, and I can't even hardly say them right now. I do not have very many words, but I will say this. As a chief, if I touched one of my sailors, I'm done. I have kids that have been put into a corner, pushed into a corner where other kids were moaning sexual sounds and doing it. One of my kids fought their way out. The other one didn't. You are not done with me. After 7 hours, the vice principal told me that he had concluded his investigation and the administrative actions against these 2 kids, or however many kids were, I know who they are, was taken care of. I have 45 seconds. Last year, my son, Jasik, and I'm saying his name, was spanked in his agriculture class by a senior student, and it was brought up to your middle school, and they did nothing about it other than for 10 days after the fact. They pulled the kid out of that class after the fact. I asked about that today and yesterday. That school has no record of that happening because you did not put the paperwork in. I have a history of sexual assault with my 3 children. And I don't care about that buzzer. You have not fixed anything in that middle school. I'll move.
Thank you. Thank you. And Superintendent McCowan, I'm asking if you would look into
Yeah, I'll
that.
look into that. I know, excuse me. I know there was an incident yesterday that was taken, that was investigated. I know the sheriff's been contacted on it, but the other things I do not know of, so I'll contact the father and find out what's
Okay.
going on.
Thank you.
Contacting everybody I can.
Thank you.
I'll reach out to you.
Thank you. Very concerning. We heard you. We are moving on to consent items. Yes. Moving on to consent items. And do I have a motion on the consent items?
Vice President Stroh, so this month it was my duty to look through all the purchase orders and everything. All my questions were answered to my satisfaction, so I propose that we move to approve the consent agenda along with the updated personnel listing.
Okay. And any discussion regarding these consent items? No? A second? Okay. And let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia is absent. Member Polito? Aye. Member Stroh votes aye. And Member Adams is absent. And at this time, anyone would like to leave, this is the time. Go ahead and leave. Thank you for your participation. Yeah. We're going to move into the superintendent presentation and division.
All righty, let's move into the next slide there we have. So this last month, we were able to celebrate California American Indian Day with our next slide. We'll see here, this is a great day of celebration out at the Valley Center Roadrunner School. And here you can see the different students playing games and interacting with our Native American culture, and then also with some of our Native American tutors from our Ed Center. We'll wait till everybody leaves the room, I'm sorry. All right, move to the next slide, please. This here is a celebration over at Lilac School. You can see it was a beautiful day outside. We had our singers from San Pasquale. We also had our students out there in the shade enjoying a wonderful afternoon. Next slide, move on to Pauma School, where they also played Native American games. And you can see them all down there having a lot of fun. It is nice to note that there were several different Indian Ed centers that participated in this, so the games were from sometimes different tribes and different games, so that was a lot of fun for our students to experience. Next slide. Here was at the middle school. We had a great day playing games. You can see Mr. Hellwood over there in the right picture. He was helping out with one of the games as was needed. And the next picture is going to be the second day we celebrated at the California Indian Day Assembly. This was put on, give me a second here. Jimmy, I'm trying to think of Jimmy's last name.
Jimmy.
Somebody said it. Jimmy from up on La Jolla. Trujillo, I am so sorry. And Mr. Chapis from San Pasquale came over. And one of the neat things about this experience, it was also, next picture, please, was, or go back one, the two young ladies that are at the very picture on the right, but on the left side there, those are two of our students that run the Native American Club on campus. They were the ones that brought both of our singers there, and that was Araya Culpepper and Vanessa Clack Asuna. And what was neat about that experience is they actually got other students up doing the dance as the singers were singing. And so there was probably at one point about 150 other students up there dancing, which really made the event even more special. And we want to thank those two students for their leadership. Next, we're going to jump over to, there's a group picture of everybody, and then we're going to move to the high school. And at the high school, you can see there at the very top are our dancers in their ribbon skirts, and then also we had the Native American singers. And down at the bottom there, we have the Saquon Powwow Princess for 2022, our own Marlise Howard. And you can see her beautiful crown there that she had won. So we were really proud of her. Next picture. We also want to celebrate our CNS and our Child Nutrition Service or Department this week. This is their week to celebrate, and so we wanted to put a little flyer up there. We have moved into a new era in California where every student is afforded a lunch and a breakfast, so the workload of these gals and guys have just picked up that much more, and so we want to thank them. Next slide. This is our new web page, and I think it's almost everybody here has probably used this web page, but this is our new web page, and it's much more friendly, user friendly, and we are adding more and more information to it every day. And this is a page that you go to the home site, and you can see that each one of our schools are listed there. Next slide. Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, everybody left, and I could see that they wanted to leave. But I just want to make sure those that are still here, there are two sides to the story. One side was presented today and presented what they pretty much feel all the facts. The other side did not present, but rest assured that this is being looked into completely and already has been. Fighting on our campuses is not going to be acceptable. And people that do choose and make the poor decision to fight on our campus will have consequences. And in this case, every single child that was involved in this has consequences dealing with what their involvement level was. And I just want to make it real clear that as this was looked into by the school staff and then was looked over by administrative staff, every one of these students had a chance to get away. And every one of these students chose not to leave the area, but instead to engage in a physical altercation. And that's not going to be accepted at Valley Center High School or any other school in our district. And we will have consequences for that, and those consequences will be upheld. Just so everybody here knows, there is a process is in place. Once the consequences are given out, then there is an appeal process, and we are in the middle of that appeal process. And the rest of the things that people would like to know the answer to really has to do with a lot of student information that we are not allowed to share, and we wouldn't divulge about our students. So I'll leave it at that as far as the incident from 10-4 goes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent McCowan. We're going to move on to the board reading for the first reading of the following revised board policies and administrative regulations. AR 3551, BP 3551, BP 4119.1, BP 6146.1, and BP 6178. These were brought before the board for a second reading at the November 10th. These will be brought before the board for a second reading at the November 10th meeting, at which time the board will consider them for approval. I'm going to ask Board Member Benneman to please read the description of for the first reads, please, if you would do that.
This is going to take a while, so
yeah,
I'm sorry.
We're breaking it up.
Revised AR 3551, Business and Non-Instructional Operations, Food Service Operations Cafeteria Fund. Regulation updated to reflect the new law, AB 130, which requires districts to provide a nutritionally adequate breakfast and lunch to any student who requests a meal, regardless of the student's free and or reduced price meal eligibility. Updated regulation includes revision to payment for meals, cafeteria funds, and contracts with outside services sections to make them generally applicable to all food service programs, and the deletion of the unpaid and delinquent meal charges section, which is no longer applicable. Revised BP 3551, Business and Non-Instructional Operations Food Service Cafeteria Fund. Policy updated to reflect new law, AB 130, which requires districts to provide a nutritionally adequate breakfast and lunch to any student who requests a meal, regardless of the student's free and/or reduced price meal eligibility, including revisions to the meal sales and meal monitoring and evaluation sections. BP 4119.1, Personnel, Civil, and Legal Rights. Policy reflects new court decision. Policy clarifies types of retaliation that are prohibited when an employee is engaged in conduct authorized by Education Code 48907 or 48950. Policy also clarifies other protected and prohibited employee-employer conduct. Revised BP 6146.1, Instruction, High School Graduation Requirements. Policy updated to move to the beginning of the policy student's obligation to complete statewide and governing board adopted graduation requirements unless exempted from local requirements, and include eligibility for students exempt from local requirements to participate in any graduation ceremony and school activity related to graduation in which other students are eligible to participate. Policy also updated to reflect new law, AB 101, which no longer authorizes a course in career technical education to serve as an alternative to the visual or performing arts or world language course requirement for high school graduation, and requires, beginning with the 2029-2030 school year, a student to complete a one-semester course in ethnic studies as specified to graduate from high school. Additionally, policy updated to reflect new law, AB 181, which requires districts to, 1, exempt eligible students with disabilities from all coursework and other requirements adopted by the board that are in addition to the statewide course requirements, and award such students a high school diploma, and 2, notify the parents and guardians of eligible students of such exemption as specified. Last one. Revised BP 6178, Instruction, Career Technical Education. Policy updated to move material regarding career technical education program components to be with related content, reflect new law, AB 101, which no longer authorizes a course in career technical education to serve as an alternative to the visual or performing arts or world language course requirements for high school graduation, and reflect new law, AB 643, which encourages districts to host apprenticeship and or career technical education fair events, such as college and career fairs, and for districts that do hold such events to notify apprenticeship programs in their county as specified. The board will conduct a second reading of the following revised, oh, that's you, sorry.
Keep going.
No, we're done.
Okay, the board will conduct a second reading of the following revised board policies and administrative regulations. These policies were presented for a first reading at the September 8th meeting. Revised Board Policy 4112.42, Policy 4212.42, Policy 4312.42, Drug and Alcohol Testing for School Bus Drivers. Revised Board Policy 4158, 4258, and 4358, Employee Security. Revised Board Policy 4141, 4241, Collective Bargaining, and Revised Administrative Regulations 4217.3, Layoff and Rehire. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Any discussion? A second?
I'll second it.
And we'll vote. Board Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Board Member Heredia is absent. Board Member Polito?
Aye.
Board Member Stroh votes aye, and Board Member Adams is absent. Human Resource Division. Side letter between VCPUSD and VCPEA. district contribution for health benefits. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And I'll second.
Okay, discussion? No, second. Okay, there goes for the vote. Benjamin?
Aye.
Heredia is absent. Polito?
Aye.
Stroh votes aye. Adams is absent. District contribution for health benefits, management, supervisory, confidential, and non-represented employees. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Any discussion?
And I'll second.
Okay, and a second. All right, and we will move forward with the vote. Benjamin?
Aye.
Heredia is absent. Polito?
Aye.
Stroh votes aye, and Adams is absent. Business Division, approve grant funding agreements and resolution number 2022-2023-03, authorizing the district to utilize the Waterford Unified School District co-op bid number 0122 to purchase electric buses. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Discussion?
No, but I'll
Let's
second
say-
it.
I'm going to say I think it's great. And a second.
First, then
A
you
second.
discuss.
Well, it's written here this way, sorry.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, yes. So, second.
I'll
You
second.
discuss. Okay, thank you. Let's go for the vote. Benjamin?
Aye.
Heredia is absent. Polito?
Aye.
Stroh votes aye, and Adams is absent. Next is authorizing the purchase of 4 electric buses through the 2021 Carl Moyer program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Discussion?
No.
Second?
I'll second.
You aren't allowed
Okay.
to discuss until then.
Just
Okay.
move on.
I
Okay.
understand. I'm just.
Yes. All I know is I was given instruction for this order.
Dear.
Yeah. That's what I did. Okay. Anyways, Benjamin?
Aye.
Heredia is absent. Polito?
Aye.
Stroh votes aye, and Adams is absent. Advanced planning, next regular meeting is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Adjournment?
Also move.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
I'm just going by that. I know, you gotta have, come on, life is short, right? And we will go for the, Benjamin?
Aye.
Heredia is absent. Polito?
Aye.
Stroh votes aye, and Adams is absent. It is, what time is it? It is 7:18, and we are dismissing. Thank you.